the Kansas City Chiefs. How about this? I did not know this. No team has ever started 4-0 4 straight years. How about that? Did you see that stat last night?
I did.
That and Romo and Nance were like, I'm surprised Brady never did that. I'm surprised, Peyton Manning, didn't he start 8-0 several years in a row once Dungy arrived? And
How'd the Pats never do that?
They started 2-2 a bunch of years and they won the Super Bowl after
4-0 4 straight years.
The Cowboys had to have done that.
And I'll tell you again.
I
I'll tell you
hope
what,
you're
man.
kidding.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but the Chiefs eventually pulled away.
Yeah, the score is not indicative of how close that game was.
It was a tight game because Belichick was doing his usual bag of tricks on Mahomes. And I believe it was the third time that the Patriots have played Mahomes and held him to 0 touchdown passes in the first half. And, they fly day a game. Cam Newton isn't playing because he has COVID, which is one of the, if not the main reason why the game was pushed to Monday night, because of how late in the week he displayed his positive test. And they're running the ball. How many times last year, Chris, did I say to you, why does New England draft a kid second round and Damian Harris, who, by the way, is the guy who played in front of Josh Jacobs in Alabama. Josh Jacobs couldn't crack the starting lineup because this kid was running in Alabama, right?
Yeah.
And at one point wasn't it Derrick Henry and Damian Harris? Or those are different eras?
I think that was different
eras. I don't know.
eras.
All I know is Josh Jacobs could not crack the starting lineup with regularity in Alabama because this kid was running there. New England drafts him in the second round. Sony Michel can't run the ball. Gronk isn't there. You need a burst. And he wasn't usable.
He had 4 carries last year.
That's it. And he runs for 100 yards. Rex Burkhead is hitting the seam. And the only reason why the Patriots aren't in front is because Brian Hoyer showed why, there's two parts to the first half. First half with Hoyer is he shows that he knows to run this offense and he can hit people in stride on occasion, and New England can rely on him to hit guys in stride. That's how they were or set things up. I know they were handing off, but the offense was moving in the proper way, and that's potentially why they can't quit Brian Hoyer. Is he knows their world, knows their offense, and it was clicking and moving. And just as I tweeted out towards the end of the first half that New England is just in one of the best coached teams and one of the best coached teams in terms of utilizing their roster to the best of their ability, Hoyer pulls one of the most rare instances I've ever seen in a Belichick coached Patriots squad of doing the exact opposite of smart situational football. I've never seen somebody not know how many timeouts they have left and not know. I mean, obviously taking a sack is terrible, but
I burned the last 20 seconds of the half off on that play.
They could have gone to the locker room tied at 6.
Tied, yeah.
And then he throws a terrible pick later on in the second half, and all of a sudden Jarrett Stidham's coming in, and I'll tell you this.
Well, the pick 6 wasn't his fault. It went right through Edelman's hands, who has been pretty
that's true.
Not great
it was
this
Stidham
year.
who threw a bad pick later on.
Yeah, so.
But Hoyer was making way too many mistakes, and they moved to Stidham. I would say this, based on last night's game, and this may be part of the reason why we're surprised about Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? Is we're just assume it. We're also assuming that somebody's done it before. I would proffer to say last night Cam Newton got more MVP votes accrued than Patrick, pardon me. I guess we're just assuming Mahomes is going to do it, and at some point Mahomes will find Kelsey, and they'll dial up the right play in the red zone like they did with Tyreek Hill to get him in the end zone for the first time and take a bigger lead than they should have had because of the mistakes the Patriots were making in the red zone. And again, you can chalk this up to the fact that they didn't know if they were playing the game Sunday morning, and then they're told you got to get on a plane Monday and play the game Monday night at the home of the champs where there are fans allowed. So a 4-turnover night, all from the quarterback position. I don't know the last time that happened. And that's why, again, I think Cam Newton, if you want to say whose stock rose more as a most valuable player, Cam Newton's stock rose more in that department than Mahomes, because I don't know how much more I guess Mahomes could raise his stock. So we'll just take that and just say it's an outlier and that the Patriots will have a game at home against the Denver Broncos, who I assume won't look as efficient against an AFC East opponent on the road with Brett Rippon at the controls than they did this past Thursday night. I proffer to say they'll have a tougher time putting points on the board, that they won't get 6 different personal foul penalties, thanks to the idiocy of their defending the defenders that they're going against. Didn't mean to use this as a moment for me against the Jets, but I'm essentially saying they'll be 3-2 going into a bye, after which we hopefully get Cam Newton back, because again, we do not know how a human being will react to contracting COVID. We're just assuming somebody of his health and status and wealth and the health care that he's afforded as somebody with his status and wealth that many in our country are not. We're just assuming he will just be back. No problem. We'll see. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.